From WBAY-TV, your first alert station, Action 2 News at 4:30 starts now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Action 2 News at 4:30. I'm Chris Roth. Our top story tonight takes us to the forefront of education, where groundbreaking advancements in technology are reshaping the way that students learn. Artificial intelligence, once confined to the realms of science fiction, is now making its mark in classrooms across the nation. Good afternoon. What you just saw was an introduction created using artificial intelligence. Looked a little different, didn't it? We used ChatGPT to create a script and a site called HeyGen to generate that video. We wanted to show you just a fraction of what AI can do because it's something that is likely here to stay, even in education. This is the New Valley Charter School in Appleton, which serves grades 7 through 12. They're embracing the use of AI in the classroom to teach students how it can help, but also how to use it ethically. When the AI program ChatGPT was introduced in the fall of 2022, it immediately raised red flags in education, sparking fears that cheating would run rampant. Many schools banned the use of it. But a study done by Stanford University this past fall, surveying 40 high schools around the country, showed that those students were not cheating at a different rate than before ChatGPT was available. And a Forbes study in October showed that 60% of the 500 educators they surveyed are using AI in their classrooms. Concerns still exist, but constructive use of the technology also exists. And we are joined now by Dr. Burke Wallace. He is an advisor at the Valley New School in Appleton. So as we mentioned, ChatGPT came out in November of 2022, raised a lot of concerns, obviously, in education. But when did you start to notice a shift from maybe concern to curiosity and how it can be used?
Yeah, well, at Valley New School, we're a intentionally small lab school, and so we have prided ourselves over the last 20 years on challenging what education should be and looking for emerging trends within education, and then seeking to engage our students in those. And we really saw with our students last year was when we first saw students beginning to use it.
Okay.
And what we saw, I think, is what many schools are experiencing and wrestling with is that students are using it. I think students want to use it in a way to circumvent their learning or in a way to make their assignments easier. And at Valley New School, we wanted to take something like AI, which is emerging and which is only going to become a bigger part of society, and we wanted to teach our students how to use it ethically and how to use it to enhance their education rather than just as a way to more quickly do their assignments.
Right, and clearly that was the fear right away, right? That it wasn't going to be a tool to help, it was going to be a tool to replace. Interesting, I was doing some reading on this, and the Harvard Graduate School of Education did an article in June of this year, tips for educators and how to embrace or at least deal with AI. And here are some of the tips, and then I want to get how your program fits into this. 1, stop pretending that AI doesn't exist. 2, use AI alongside your students. 3, teach students how to ask the ChatGPT tool questions. And 4, use generative AI tools to spark imagination. How do you think you're doing on that checklist?
Well, I think Harvard has a pretty good beat on what's going on in that. Yeah, we have sought with our students to get them to understand it as a tool. And so we received a grant this year from the Appleton Education Foundation, which is enabling us as a school to investigate artificial intelligence for the entire year. And we're focusing primarily on ChatGPT because that is sort of the leader within AI, at least in the education field right now. And so we have, as educators do, we have started the process with exposing all of our students to it because like any school, we have students that are early adopters that were already using it before we began, and we have students that still halfway through the year are saying, I don't like this isn't right.
What don't they like about it?
I think that some students have the same feeling that some teachers, some educators do, that this is not a traditional way to do research. This is not a traditional way to write an essay.
Can it lead to more? Let me go back to what you said originally, that this is a way to not do the work. But you really have to check it. I mean, there was one phrase that is used as hallucinations with using AI, that it does generate some false things, that things that aren't accurate, which means the student then has to go back and fact check everything. So have you found that to be the case with someone? They don't like that part of it.
Yeah, well, at Valley News School, we're very research-based, and so all of our students have projects that they are interested in and that they want to explore and research. And so what we have found is that AI, specifically ChatGPT, can help them in the research process. We have had students use ChatGPT to come up with research questions. We have asked through the prompts, you mentioned the prompts, and really with ChatGPT, you get out of it what you put into it. But you also, it doesn't replace the full research process. Our students have to understand the core ideas of the topic they're researching so that if ChatGPT is coming back with incorrect information, they just don't believe it and then put that into their paper.
Some of the research out there and some of the questions that were asked in several of these surveys, we referenced them earlier, Stanford, the Pew Research Foundation, which also did one in fall. Students are starting to use this to generate ideas, not necessarily projects. Have you found that to be the case? And why do they like that if that's the case?
Yeah, well, that's one of the areas that we are focusing on as well, is that in using ChatGPT and AI to help them with the research process and with the questioning process. So if we have a student that maybe wants to research something about Vietnam, there are plenty of things about Vietnam, but we really want them to find unique questions that they're interested in. And so ChatGPT may be able to help them with current issues surrounding Vietnam or about the specific aspect of Vietnam that they're interested in.
Okay. We asked about what the students like and dislike. As an educator, I'm going to ask you the same questions. What do you like about it? What do you dislike about it that you've learned thus far?
Yeah, well, part of this grant has also been to train us, the advisors
Sure.
at Valley News School, because we are learning along with the students, and we are learning what the prompts are. We are learning that you never accept the first answer that you get back from ChatGPT. You want to continue to refine the questions. I think, you know, we have high school and middle school students,
Sure.
and so at this level, it's pretty easy to know if a student is just using ChatGPT to write the essay.
How?
Because the language is more advanced than they would typically have. We work with our students continually year after year.
You know your students.
So we know our students.
Right.
And so it's very easy for us to be able to tell, like, I know that this is not your writing level. I think at a college level or beyond, perhaps, or in a school where teachers don't know their students as well.
Larger classes. Yeah.
Then it'd be a lot easier for students to get this. So certainly there are risks with cheating, if you will,
Sure.
or with plagiarism, with students not learning it. One of the aspects that we have considered as a staff is, what does it mean to genuinely assess student learning in a world of AI?
That's a big question.
It is.
And it's a large umbrella that it falls under. I'm curious, so this grant was to explore it for a year. What do you think happens after the year?
Yeah, well, some of our students will continue to use it. We are doing really innovative things. We also have a subscription to Midjourney, and so one of the tasks that we did as a school-wide task was students created mini movie scripts using AI, and then they created a movie poster using the generative AI to create the image. And all along, we continue to have conversations about what are the ethics of it. At Valley News School, we have a lot of students that are very into art, and they have a lot of concerns about what that means for the future of artists. And future of journalists and future of a lot of careers. And so we're having these important conversations, underpinning again that this is a tool that is not going away, and it is a tool that you can use in an ethical way to enhance what you're doing, not to circumvent the system. And that's what we continue to focus on.
Very interesting, Burke. It'll be interesting to see how your students progress with this after this year as well. So thanks for coming in, and we appreciate what you do.
Thanks for having me.